Everyone. Hello, I'm Annette McCoy. Sitting beside me on the screen is Marney Perna.
Hello,
Welcome,
everyone.
Marney.
How are you?
Oh, I'm very fine today. Thank you very much. And I hope everyone else is too. Wherever you are, may it be a thrilling Thursday or a wonderful Wednesday. It's one of those two.
Still does my head in.
Well, our topic today, everybody. Now, I believe that you can make comments if you're on Angel Heart Radio Facebook page, or you might choose, I think you can do that through YouTube as well. So
okay.
feel free to
Feel
do
free,
either.
hey?
Yeah.
Just trying to adjust
And,
light here.
sorry?
I said I'm just trying to adjust light here, but it's not working. It's all good.
Right, all good?
Yep.
All right. I'm multitasking at the moment. Very easy sometimes. So our topic today, Marnie, is letting go of treasures.
Yes, very relevant.
Incredibly.
Very relevant.
I mean, I moved almost 3 years ago and had to declutter lots and lots and lots. But it's fascinating. Then I get more stuff, and it's like, okay, and the boxes of stuff, like lots of paper, I think, kept treasures, are up in cupboards, and I haven't looked at them in that time. So it raises a few questions, because I know when the time comes for me to move on to another space, my kids are going to simply turf.
Throw it out. I think that's a realization we all come to at some stage, that our children do not have the same connection to treasures, what we perceive as treasures. But I think too, what you need to take away from, like, replace the word treasures with memories, because the treasures have a memory connection. That's what I found. Right. There was a couple of times where I'd look at something and I'd go, I haven't got any emotional attachment to this. And I'd go, oh, that's awesome. So it would go in the to give away box.
Right.
It is definitely about our connection to the memories of the item.
Yes.
As opposed to actually what the item is.
I do hear you. I find it easier too if I pass things on to other people.
Yes.
Like when I was going through photo collections, oh my goodness. I mean, it was the kids have been given a box relevant to them. When we used to print photos, and I would get 2 sets.
I know one for me and one for someone else.
And I know that at times I did send them on. However, when I was in the process of moving, I sent them on again with me. Do you remember these? Now, then it was up to somebody else as to what they were going to do with it.
Yeah.
And I find that easier than something hitting the bin straight from me.
Yeah. I know too, when so I've had several ways of decluttering. So it hasn't always been mine. But when Mum and Dad built the granny flat many, many years ago, they came from a 3-bedroom house into a small granny flat. So they had to downsize. And Mum was someone who loved photos. So we would always give her lots of photos. Now, a lot of those were doubles, as you were talking about. I already had the originals, and then Mum got the doubles. But she had them everywhere. She had frames, and she had like cabinets with the frames on them, and then flip ones and grandma's ones, and, all these kind of things. But she didn't have the space anymore to put them up. So my daughter and I sat there and we got all of her framed photos as opposed to ones she had in albums. And we sat down and we bought this lovely big square photo frame. It was just from one of the, like the not the reject shop, but it wasn't an expensive frame. We went along and I bought 2 actually of the same, and they had the big thick gold edging, but they were quite substantial. They would have been probably 1/2 meter square. So they were quite big ones.
Yes.
And we sat down and we collaged all of Mum's framed photos. And the photo frames went to a painter, a guy who did love painting, and he was always looking for frames. Big ones, little ones didn't matter. He could utilize those, and he didn't have to buy them, so that was great. But we made a massive collage of all of Mum's, of our generation, or like her children and grandchildren and things like that. I didn't put in it all of her generation. That was for the second frame, which I must admit I never got around to doing. But my generation, like her own children, we got it all on a frame, although apparently one grandson got missed out. And he would tell us every time he came. But Mum obviously didn't have any little photos for him. She might have only had the real big, the kindy photos.
Oh, yes, yes.
So we didn't use any of those great big ones. And it was lovely. And it sat behind Mum, and we'd all look at it, and she would look at it, and it held all of her memories of us growing up. And it was beautiful. Now I have it now in my house hanging on the wall. Again, it is something that someone else will make the decision to offload when the time comes, but it's not that big a deal. So if they throw it away, that's fine. I don't care then. All right, because I would have had the originals anyhow, so they're going to find the originals in my stash of photos, because I've got drawers of photos that have been printed that I every so often I think I should go through those. It's a job for another day.
Yes.
So you can consolidate things, and as I said, it's the memory. So I actually thanked, and I think you do the same thing too, Annette. I thank what I'm giving away or throwing away. If the choice is, like, I threw a rabbit away this week. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but I hate waste. And I had this lovely rabbit that one of the kids had dropped, so the feet fell off. It was like about yay high sort of thing, and pretty pink one. And I had it in the garden, and it would sit in the bushes, so it would peek out of the bushes. But really, I didn't need it, and it keeps falling out of the garden. And today I went, you know what? Thank you, Mrs. Rabbit. You've been lovely, but we can let you go now. So I threw it away, and it was that sort of the action of deciding it didn't need to hang around anymore. Like, it was time for it had done what it needed to do. But thanking anyhow for the memories, and feeling quite okay, because it was very broken. It wasn't savable, and no one really needed to try and reinvent it. So off it went. So you would do the same, wouldn't you, Annette?
Yes. Now, getting back to the photos, I had a lovely friend who wanted to make a book out of all of my framed photos, so that I wasn't taking it. And that was a lovely idea. And books they're so easy to do now.
Yeah.
Well,
did she do a digital one?
Sorry.
Did she do it as a digital book, or did she do it as the actual photos?
I do have a digital copy, but I have a hard backed book, beautiful coffee table book.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that's really lovely. The memories come flooding back.
That's right. And we're more inclined to use it when it's in front of us. When we've got our photos stashed, we're not inclined to look at them, but you need to get them out sometimes. And it's something I actually do, because one of my top 10 tips to de-stress is memories. And quite often I'll get people who might be a bit sad in their life, or they're a bit lonely, or something's happening and they need to uplift themselves. They can use the photos that they've taken of previous times that they'd smile at, and put them out, take them out of the photo albums. Like, don't leave them stuck in there. Actually get them out and put them out. So put one on your fridge or anywhere at all, or put them even in little places that you're just going to come across them. And when you do, you go, oh, that was a nice time. So what it does is it lifts your life energy. Right? But it's, instead of you're not as inclined to go to your cabinet to get your photo albums out.
I hear you.
So it's just another way of utilising what you've already got, really.
Yes. Yeah. I was given a mug the Christmas before last, I think, and the message said, "You have been mugged. Feel free to pass it on." And this morning I had the idea, well, I'm going to use the ones that I have put aside, put something inside the mug, and then say, please keep the gift and feel free to pass it on, because what else do you do with Christmas mugs?
Yeah. Or any mug for that matter.
Well,
my mum was the hug and the mug lady. So everyone she met got a mug and a hug.
Gorgeous.
But in saying that, once again, it's linking it to the memory of the person. Because whenever you, like with mum, it's mugs and Baileys. Every time you see Baileys or a mug, you go, oh, Grandma, I'd love that. You know, and it's the gift you were given in a previous time that assists you in the now or the future when you need it.
Mm.
But you're right about the mugs, you know, not only mugs. I mean, think of the glasses. I'm reinventing the glasses, or what do they say? Repurposing Mum's beautiful glasses, because I don't feel like I could just ignore the fact they were Mum's and give them to charity, and that's fine. But I've decided to I've given myself a job, but I'm creating candles out of them. So memory candles.
Lovely.
You know, they're really nice smelling ones that Mum would connect with as well. And I know when our daughter got married, she looked for a nice candle to commemorate or to have on the table with the photo of the two grandmas. And we struggled a little bit to find one at the time. So that's what's made me decide to do them. And I feel like then once they're in a candle and they've been given or sold, I don't have the connection anymore. So what they do with it is their choice.
Mm-hmm. So yes. Creativity can help.
Yeah.
How do we, yes, a set of glasses are beautiful. How do you use so many sets of glasses? By all means, that candle is great. I can remember passing them on as earring, the old champagne ones that didn't hold much.
Yeah.
They would spill. They're very good for hanging pierced earrings.
Oh, pierced earrings
around them, and then you could put other things on the inside, so that yes, can be.
So maybe our people listening can share with us some of their ways that they've repurposed some of their stuff that they haven't wanted to give away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it is a way. I recently attended a high tea. It was a pre-love fashion high tea that we did in combination with a lady. And initially the concept was she did a lot of functions. So she had masses of cups and saucers and plates. And the original thing that we were going to do with this was, as you came in, you took whichever one you liked the look of, and you took it and you used it at the event, but then you took it home with you. So it was a way of moving it forward. Now, in the end, we didn't do it because in the meantime, she had another function planned or booked, and she needed the number of mugs, cups and saucers that she had. So she didn't actually do it for that one, but it's a lovely concept. Like, invite some friends over for maybe a, Christmas time. So it's a time for giving. So can you have a little morning tea and gift them the mug that they choose, or the cup and saucer that they choose, or the glass that they choose, something special that's got a little from my hand to yours, or my heart to yours, or something like that. Or include a tea bag with it and just say, the next time you're feeling a bit down, have a cup of tea with me, even if I'm not here. So we can repurpose things. We can move them along.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just as okay, Annette, and you will agree with me here, it's just as okay if you decide and you've made the conscious decision that for now you would like to keep that particular item. It's totally okay. Depends how many boxes you have in your cupboard.
Yeah. Well, see, my situation it's clothing. I have so many clothes.
Yeah.
And yet I didn't, and I must admit, when I moved, I thought, oh no, I haven't got as many as some people. And I thought, I'm doing a really good job. The thing is, since I've been here, I've accumulated a lot of other items.
Well, you travel a lot, don't you? So that there's times you would need clothing that's not suitable for here that you would use elsewhere.
Well, that's true. But this morning I realised, because next week I'm going on a Disney cruise with some of my family to celebrate my big birthday, and I'm really excited about it. It's only 4 days. It's only 4 days.
Okay,
so 3 full days, and it's like how many clothes do I need? I really don't need a lot, but it's a
No.
matter of finding it down, color coordinating,
Yeah.
and yes. Okay, so what colors am I going to choose,
Yeah.
etc. So
And when you release clothing and things like that, it's a matter of saying, well, if this is a little bit damaged, there is no point giving it to a charity that needs to sell the clothing. So what you need to do is find somewhere that collects fabric to like as not as rags, because I think they use them, they cut them all up or something and use them as stuffing. So you need to be thoughtful with your moving on as well. So if you don't want it, you don't want it because it's broken, or is it something that you just don't need the connection anymore, like it's given you what it needed and it's time to move it on? So there's many aspects to letting go of things.
I do hear that. I was dropping things off at a op shop the other day, and there was a sign: if you would use it, or if you would wear it, feel free to leave it. But the opposite of that is, well, if you wouldn't wear it, or if you wouldn't use it, then please don't leave it.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem. Op shops tend to get a lot of discarded stuff that then they have to pay to have removed.
Yeah. And it's really sad, I think, when you see collection boxes where people have just left all the stuff at the front, and then it rains and it all gets damaged anyhow. And look, we all react and respond to need. So when we think there is a need, we will go through and we'll look for stuff and give it in. But sometimes we need to be conscious of, is the end result what is needed. You know, and there's a lot of organisations that do one really big one for quality. I'm not talking about high quality as in high cost, but something that is very usable by someone else is Give It. Have you heard of Give It? GIVIT?
Right.
Have you heard of that one?
No.
No. It was started in Queensland in the 2011 floods, or just before then, I think, and the lady, Juliet Wright, had a whole heap of, she was quite blessed. She was given a lot of lovely clothes for her baby when he was born. But, you know, babies grow and they move on really quickly. And she didn't feel like just giving it to an op shop. She thought then there has to be a need. So she created Give It. And Give It is an organisation where organisations and people will be looking for something, and then someone else is looking to give that thing away. So they will give it. And she's now been, it's grown to such an extent and such a huge not-for-profit now that it's part of the government's response to disasters. So they do a lot of the coordinating of it. So they don't store it. So it goes from my hand to your hand, or your hand to my hand, sort of thing. So it's not having to be stored anywhere. So they don't need a big shed, but they coordinate a lot of the response, and they also get a lot of donations. So monetary goes elsewhere as well. So
lovely. So that's something for people in Australia, especially to check out. Give It.
And it started with an idea. You know, it's just an idea. So ideas, creativity comes from a need or a want or a concept. And then you think, okay, well, how can I achieve this? So what is the one thing that you found the most or not the easiest to let go of, Annette?
Clothing and shoes I find very difficult to let go of. Because I might need that. I might get some, and so I'm at the moment retraining my thinking to know that those colours, and so maybe special things I'll keep, but other things it's like, well, yes, I've worn that, and sometimes I get a rude shock when I realise that I've had something for 10 or more years. Maybe longer, and it's like, oh my goodness, that might be very special. there was a suggestion too that when we're finding it difficult to let go of things, to hold that item, whether it be a piece of clothing or an
whatever.
item.
Yeah.
Yes. And hold it, and how do I feel about it? And if it gives me joy, will I hold on to it? And if it doesn't, well, then it's time to bless it and find somewhere for it to go.
And I think that's the realization that you will all come to at some stage, is that some things you suddenly realize, things that you have kept, suddenly you go, I don't need to. It's such a release to be able to let it go. But also if you can't, and I watched quite a few shows about hoarding. Now, I don't say I'm a hoarder, but I am a collector of stuff. Okay, right. My daughter-in-law would disagree with me. She would call me a hoarder. But that was like the opposite attracting. She's a minimalistic. So I find that as an unusual way of life as well. But if you've collected things for whatever reason and they've given you joy and you're finding it really, really difficult to let it go, you need to kind of identify, if you can, the emotion of that item, because it's not just the item. Right? It's the connection to the emotion that came with the item. And for some people, it might be an emotion of lack. So I can't give that away because I used to not have any and now I've got too many. But if I give them away, I'll be back in that space of lack. So, and, that can come from many sources. I also realised personally that a lot of the natural disasters that were happening, like the bushfires and the floods and things like that, where people were losing stuff without choosing to lose it and losing everything without choice, it sort of helped me to realise that when you've got the choice to be able to go through and let go of stuff that you no longer do want to keep, that's very gifting and blessed, because suddenly we have got the opportunity to do it.
Yes.
Because many people lose everything without choice.
So...
And I think we get like, I don't know, you inherit some traits as well. So Mum always loved glasses, so I seem to have an amazing collection of my own, with all of Mum's still in the shed. So it's just, you just go, oh, okay. But there's so many opportunities and op shops and places that you can give things to, that even on your local Facebook you can just say free. You don't have to get charged people.
Yes, and it's fabulous. I know there are free groups around as well. I think the thing is you have to gift something before you actually say, may I have that? But what a wonderful idea. I picked
it's like a swap, but then you still you end up with more stuff.
Yeah. It's more if you're looking for something, like.
Yes, yeah.
Like I'm storing a baby's portable cot.
Yeah, there's no need because they don't use them.
I know. Well, and my kids bring their own anyway on the occasion, but because the child's used to that particular one.
Yeah.
So I look at that and think, well, really, that can come down. It's
I'm in the process. So we had our family living with us, and they've moved on now and found their own house, and which is lovely for them, that they're really enjoying it. But we had all the seconds of everything as grandparents. So the cot, the bassinet, the porta cot, the change table, the everything. So it's now gone into the spare room in anticipation of letting it go. And with it too, because the number of toys got left here, some of the toys, it's not relevant to the age that they're all becoming. So what I'll think is, if you buy the bassinet, I'll gift you a toy. They're getting something for nothing, which is a bargain. And but something, when I was going through, what was I going through? We were looking for something in a photo album. We were actually looking for a specific photo, which is like searching for hen's teeth. But one of the boxes I came to was all the albums. I don't know if you did it in your life, your family, but when we had significant days like engagements or big birthdays or something, we would keep the cards and put them in an album. One of the old sticky kind of albums that you lifted up the page and you stuck it down and you put the page back on top of it. So I came across all these. There would have been probably a dozen albums that were full of old cards. And I went, I don't need, like, my children are not going to want to go through these. They'll have no connection to my 21st birthday card. So what I did is I sat down and had a wonderful day in what we call now the bar room, undoing all these cards and reading them. And so many of them came from people that were no longer here, that had passed on, because it is, I'm 65 now and this was 21. So, it's a while ago. But what I did was I took the front cover off each of them. I just tore them off. The message card, I read the message and thanked it and put it in a pile. But all those top cover cards, I found a kindergarten that used them for recycling.
Yep.
So they still had a reason for being. And if the kindergarten didn't end up using them, that was totally okay. But there was really interesting photos on a lot of them. And they were more than happy to take them. And I reduced like a shelf, a 1.5 metre long shelf and I threw the albums away because they're all, by the time you pull the page up, there was no stick left on it. So, you can do that with it as well and keep a few significant ones, which are not so hard. I think I'm at an age now where I'm conscious that I'm the second half of my life.
Oh.
Okay, so I've gone over 50. So, 50 years is significant. Well, the next 50 is just as significant. But I'm closer now to, the middle of that second lot. So it is now timely for me to actually consider, do I need to let the family, and maybe they'll enjoy going through some of my stuff, but there's other bits they're not going to want. And letting go sits in the gallbladder and large intestine meridian. All right. Now that's one of the meridians in Chinese philosophy that deals with strong emotions. Right. And large intestine, large intestine sits in the middle element, but the gallbladder, the how dare I throw that away, or how dare I, how dare they not want this, sits in gallbladder.
Oh.
Right? So we kind of have to let that go just that little bit. But within the large intestine meridian, you've got words like guilt, grief, release, self-worth, all those kind of words sitting in there. Now, they're kind of connected to your stuff, right? But they're also connected to your health.
Yes.
So if large intestine is not flowing carefully, you're being cluttered. And just think how nice it is when you actually decide to either, even if you're not getting rid of stuff, but you go through your linen press and you pull it all out and you fold it all up and make it neat and tidy and put it all back again. You have this feeling of space, and there's a totally different energy to the linen press. Because when you open that linen press and it's a mess, you go, oh, God, you should do it. And you quickly close it again before something falls out. So, the times you get there and you actually rearrange things, it's releasing it. It releases energy. It releases the blockage. And who knows what's in that linen press that blockage is causing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to you? What other space, when you've cleared it or rearranged it, makes you feel good?
Well, I laugh because and I'd like to welcome Janet Hickok. She's watching.
Hi, Janet. Yeah.
Fantastic. And she's finding the conversation very interesting, which it is. The linen press, I smile, Marney, because I actually went through it recently and did manage to part with some things, which was really cool, rearranged it. And I look, even because my kitchen, I was really pleased with bringing in what things that I thought, yes, I'm going to use. Because I think I've mentioned before, gorgeous Marie, who lives on the Gold Coast, she is minimalist in that the small space. So therefore, she has what she needs to use. So maybe a setting for 6 at the most, 4 of everything. And how many platters does one need? And I look at that before.
I think I found a dozen plus.
The drawer that I have at the moment, and I think there are some that I tend to use all the time. There are others that could go. because
I was going to say the ones
not...
you don't use are the ones you've got at the back of the cupboard because you can't get to it.
Interesting. Well, I got to a bowl the other day because I must admit I do use a large glass bowl quite a lot. But of course, I knocked a champagne glass, bringing it forward. Oh, oops.
Yeah. Thank you. Always taken away.
Yeah, that's right. So every so often I think, oh, well, I'll just go through a cupboard. I mean, that was what I was doing in the family home. Now it's, I sort of think, oh, every 12 months to go through the cupboards.
I know. Yeah, look, it's, yeah. And again, it's very much about the emotion. So I think when you're holding it to say, is there joy in this? You can also say, is there an emotion? Like, trust your intuition, like learn to be guided by your intuition. And if you say to it, you know, what's the memory? Where did I get this from? Or what is the connection that this has to me? It'll come through when you let it. So you kind of need to be kind to yourself and be kind to your mind as well, so that your mind is allowing your heart and mind to talk. But if you sit there and really there is no connection to that item, you don't need it because it's blocking you. It's definitely giving you an energetic blockage if there is no connection to that item. You need to have a connection of some description, either one of memory, pleasant memories, or just, well, there was always a need. Like we've got a large family now, so just for the boys and the kids and Santa and I to sit down as, 13 to 14. So you do need 14 knives and forks and things nowadays. But do I need 22 sets of children's cutlery? Probably not. I've only got 5 grandchildren, so I could move those on. And then you look at them and you go, oh, yeah, but my children use those. Grandchildren want new stuff. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, but there is an emotion.
Del has joined us, and she says, "Hello, beautiful ladies. I love this topic. Thank you heaps." Well, thank you, Del. It's wonderful to have you with us.
One of the things that you can let go happily is go on say in January, go through your larder. Don't try and give it to other people if it's out of date. They don't want it. All right. No. But Chinese, one of the feng shui Chinese concepts is that your middle shelf in your kitchen, in your larder, should be looked at every year. So every year, take everything out of it. And they suggest the feng shui energy suggests that you put a yellow cover on that middle shelf. So, yellow paper. I use yellow wrapping paper. I go to one of the $2 shops and find some nice thick yellow wrapping paper. Mind you, yellow paper is not always easy to find. So if you've got to find a floral one, but it's got yellow in it, that will be fine. And go through all items that are on that middle shelf. All right. And re-engage with what they are. If they're out of date or you haven't used them in that year, and seriously, you're not about to, throw them out. Because what it does, it's actually blocking the flow of sustenance and abundance into your kitchen.
Good point.
Okay, so, that's a job everyone can do.
Because I know I get a real shock sometimes when I look at those dates. Think, oh, it couldn't possibly have been there that long.
I know. Look, some things I don't think you need to worry. Look, I've always cooked, right? And Mum always cooked. So I've got a container with, cochineal and flavourings and stuff that, they would be horrified to see the price tag on them because that identifies the age. But they're not about to go off. So, no. But it's not on my middle shelf, right? It's down in my cooking things. And even there, I've been known to say, I am never going to use almond essence because I like almonds, but I hate the essence. There is no point whatsoever in me keeping it. I inherited a lot of food items from the family when, like, my daughter went overseas. She didn't want to throw out all her stuff. And when the family were living here, they had different tastes as well. But I'm not into curries and stuff. So I've got all these containers of all these unusual curries, red curries, green curries, all sorts of curries. And I'm thinking, I can keep them for so long, but eventually I'm going to throw them out because I don't use them.
Right.
They're not something that will come useful down the track. So do it guilt-free.
I tend to have fads with cook. I don't cook very often at all. So you sort of go, oh, my goodness, when was the last time I used that?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it is definitely about it is good to release that which no longer suits our highest good. And I think we have to, personally, this is a Marney talk to Marney, looking in the mirror. It is time to look at a lot of those things and say, you know what, I don't use them anymore. I'm not going to use Annie Giovanna's big Italian platter because I've got smaller ones that are more easy to put on a table. So really, it is not something I need to keep in my cupboard. And we moved after 37 years. So you can imagine the stuff. Something that really shocked me? How many pillowcases I have.
Oh.
God, what's stacked? And I look at it and I go, oh, really?
I know a couple of my friends have gone through their pillow, and even myself, I sort of went, oh, really? Yes, they tend to
they grow.
Congregate. They do grow. But I find them very useful, especially the dark-coloured ones or pattern with pillows for the homeless. Because it's amazing.
Yeah, you can hand them on,
Yeah, I find pillows here in our the hard rubbish, and so put a pillowcase on them, and they're gratefully received.
And someone has a pillow to use, yeah, absolutely. But I think when you've downsized, when you've gone from a big family down to 2, you probably don't need 68 pairs of pillow slips.
That's right.
So, yeah. And look, vet clinics, shelters, things like that will always take sheets and towels. So you don't feel like you're throwing away something that should be useful, but you run out of its use-by date. So check with your local vet clinics. They nearly always use, especially if they've got a hospital attached to them, because then they also can go through them and throw them out without the need to have to wash them all the time. So animal shelters are the other one. I gave most of Mum and Dad's sheets and towels to a local animal shelter. They were delighted. They also took stuffed toys. That's another thing that grows in cupboards. Stuffed toys.
Yeah.
You mightn't have that challenge, but I mean, I've got a box outside that are my daughter's stuffed toys, and I know she'll never want them because she will have her own collection now from her home. But again, shelters will use them, not so much the ones that when they bite into them, they just let go all the little beads. But a lot of the others, there's stuffed toys that have got stuffing in them, and apparently little puppies and stuff, they give them to little puppies to snuggle or to just hold. So there is a space for them.
Because I used to pass stuffed toys on to the children's hospital, but of course that stopped. And but animals.
Yep, animal shelters. Yeah.
It's a matter of knowing where to go, and I must admit, Google's fabulous because I have X. What can I do with it? And usually there's a few suggestions. Welcome, Anna Murphy.
Hi, ladies. How lovely to have you here. What have you all had that you found not the easiest to let go? I'd love to know.
Yes, that would be good.
Or how do you deal yourself with giving things away that are special memories? It's
really interesting listening to friends who have husbands and who say that quite often it's the husbands find it hard.
You also watch like, I don't know if you watch that show of The Repair Shop, and it's amazing. And again, all of them that get something repaired have it's the huge emotional attachment or the emotion that went into when they got it as to why they're getting these things repaired. It's either heraldry and grandpa so-and-so was a hero or whatever, and this is the last thing we've got of him. But it's lovely to watch them repairing and replacing, and you go, oh, I could do that with some of my stuff.
Right.
Some things that are really special, you think, I shouldn't fix them because they're no longer the thing. But sometimes they repair them in the repair shops with what they call it, with integrity or something, and it's like, it's not, they don't take it to brand new. They still leave the the scuff marks and the bits on it. But and sometimes if they've had to replace the fabric, they've made something from that fabric and attached it to it, so it still has this bit of the original fabric.
Right. Now, Anna's saying, I find it quite easy. I try not to hold emotional value to material items.
Yeah. So for me, it's not the material item, it's the where I got it from. It's the giving or the gifting that it was given by, not always the material aspect of what it was. It's that link to why, like, I know I've still got a pasta necklace. Now, my youngest is 32 now, so it was one of them that made it for me.
Oh,
you think,
I agree. The things that children make, I've got a couple of Christmas decorations that were made in kinder.
Macaroni ones, painted, gold macaroni ones. Yes, I've got them too.
It's funny because, yes, some I have given back, and then I look at these ones going, next Christmas they have to they have to go, because now they've got children of their own, and it's really fun to say, well, I made this. They don't think so, but I think it's fun to say, well, your dad made this at kinder.
Yeah.
Thinking, Marnie, of the children and the attachment quite often to a rabbit or a feeling thing. And is that something that we then carry on as we collect more stuff?
I don't know. I think some of it is security.
Yes.
Definitely, it's a security thing. Like, if you've come from a position of want or lack, you might find comfort in having more things. But it's when it becomes unmanageable or too overwhelming.
Sure.
That you have to step back and go, okay, do I need help with this? And there are people around that help you release things if you find it difficult to do it yourself. I know time was something I needed to even moving into here. I didn't have the time to do it, but I also didn't make the time because I didn't have the inclination to do some of it.
Sure. Yep.
So now that I've got more time, and I've got no more time than I had before, but I choose to give myself more time to it. It's been easier. And again, a lot of that is more mum and dad stuff than mine. But I've given many, many box loads to a local charity since I started the releasing and letting go.
Mm-hmm. And I must admit, I feel lighter when I'm able to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It's, do I really need it? No. Do I want it? No. But do I like it? Yep. Well, let's keep it. But like when you're doing it, you know instantly whether you really can, it's okay, let it go.
That wonderful song from Frozen. Yep. Let it go.
Yeah, absolutely. But you just go, no, I don't need that. And it's so good to put it in that pile.
Yes.
And I started taking photos of things. And I thought, that's just adding to it. Honey, let it go. It's okay. Someone else will love it.
Oh, and isn't that the truth? I mean, oh my goodness.
So even furniture now, a lot of the dumps have a pre-dump area where you can take something that you don't want anymore, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it doesn't suit what you've got. And so they take, chairs and tables and all sorts of bits and pieces, which they then put into they don't call it the reject shop, but it's it's like a trash and treasure shop, which they then sell, and then that goes back into the local community as well. So, there's always something that someone's looking for some reason. That you can find in different places, and the prices are so reasonable that you can afford to do it.
Yeah.
I think we've come to a time in life, on the whole. I suppose we're blessed in the major countries nowadays, but there's really no longer a need to have an apple box as your kitchen table.
Right. Yeah.
Probably don't get apples in boxes now anyhow, so you couldn't really do that. But, that was a time in our lives and in our in our personal memory of lives as well. So, yeah.
Yes.
I know I've just redone my clinic, so I've moved into the main room in the house now for my clinic. And even my old notebooks, which I honestly have not gone back and looked through, I've put in a box again. Oh, why am I doing that? I really am not going to go back through them, but I still feel as though at the moment I still am hanging on to them. Give me an answer why. I've got no idea, because I've got the like workbooks, and then you've got your actual study books. So I don't need the workbooks. I won't need to go back and see, did I get that right or this other thing right, because it's only the progression going through.
Right.
So it is really time to go, just keep the textbooks or the books that taught you what you were doing, rather than ones that you used as examples.
Yes. I do appreciate your mention of time, because I think over time it's easier to let things go.
Yeah.
So something that was relevant to me, say when I moved in here, now it'll be a case of, well, no, I don't need that. And I know with Mum and Dad passing, I was able to gain some of their furniture, and then so I was able to swap things over, because obviously their furniture fits well in my place, and it suits me to have it. But it was really good knowing that, okay, well, if this comes in, that has to go.
And that's the other thing to know, Annette, too, is you've just mentioned it, as you let something go, it allows room for something else to come in if it needs to.
I like that, if it needs to.
Yeah. Just don't go to the crystal shop. And I mean glass crystals as well as gem crystals. I was you can see it in my background. You can see my vision board on the wall there. And I was keeping all my, because I've been doing vision boards since 2011, and we moved 3 boxes of vision boards because I do them on frames. And I thought, oh no, I need those. I show people, the change, or this can look like this, or this can look like that. And then one day I said to Sam, I said, do you have to keep all these things? And I went, no. So I did take photos of those, and I have turned them into
photos,
albums,
yes,
which I can then use in my workshops and say, well, this is one that showed more pictures or more words or whatever. So I haven't lost them, and they certainly didn't need to be stored any longer. So I actually went through the last 13 years, and I keep the year before. And so I've got 2 that I can look at, because it's nice even to revisit them yourself. But I didn't need all 3 boxfuls, big boxes, because they're big frames. And there's nowhere to hang them. So it's not as if I was hanging them up anywhere. So you can be quite ruthless is not the word, but if you needed some aspect of it for some reason, keep it, or take a photo of it, or do something that you need. Cut it up if you have to. I mean, you're a perfect example of releasing magazines. You send them up to me.
Yeah.
And I keep them for my vision. And people love going through them because they're all full of, animals. And I usually talk about the totem animal of the colour people choose. And it's amazing how often we find them in your zoo books.
Right. So, that's good.
Yeah, but again, it's something that I then do down the track is I try and keep a pile of books that a lot of people have gone through and let them go. Like they're all been cut out. Is there really going to be that much left in them that people need to save? No. So put them in recycling bin, because you've already recycled a lot of them anyhow.
Yes. Well, I realise that some of the companies, what they spend on, because I would get one of those little books probably every fortnight. So, and it's like,
a lot,
really?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. And then a girlfriend did say, she said, you can stop that. And I said, oh, well, I do pass them on, but I know there was a whole lot. I asked the kinder whether they would like them,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
these
because the kids cut
animals.
them up and they come back
Yes,
home. That was one of the things, one of my first, what was it, a shock? An awareness. I was really excited with my, recycling when the kids all went to kindy, and you could take all your cereal boxes to kindy.
right.
What
Yes.
I wasn't told was they all came back decorated. So you went, no. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
My daughter-in-law had a laugh, yes, because when her second daughter came home from kinder, and she said, "Oh, yeah, Nanny's been down to the kinder because some of my
Yeah, she knew the
items
boxes.
were
Yeah.
in this lovely creation."
I
Dear.
find that's where sometimes some of your kitchen stuff can go to. You often find, there was a couple of call outs recently from a local kindergarten, just on the community Facebook pages kind of thing, that they were putting together an outdoor kitchen place for the kids. So they just wanted old fry pans and lifters and stuff that it was going to be kept out in the rain, like it wasn't going to be used for food, but kids could make, mud patty cakes and things like that. So they'll put a call out for all this kitchenware, but it couldn't be glassware. So it had to be like fry pans or saucepans or kettles or, things like that. So it was nice to get a box of them together and say, yeah, here's some more stuff. But it's kind of like filling a need. It's moving it along with kindness and a blessing.
Yes. Yeah, no, fantastic. Well, I hope we've given people some inspiration, some ideas. And I want to go and clean a cupboard now.
I have several clients that their emotional well-being is definitely connected to overwhelm of, I'm not saying clutter because it's belongings, overwhelming of belongings, and the physical inability for some of these clients at times to start going through anything because it's overwhelming. Like you're standing there, where do I start? And I'll often suggest a client starts in the toilet because it's the smallest room of the house, and you can get a real sense of achievement by just cleaning the toilet room, right? Or giving yourself, breaking it down. So, yes, I want to do the kitchen, but, oh, my God, where do I start? Well, get your cutlery drawer and tip it all out. Wipe in your cutlery drawer and then put back what you want to put back. And even opening your cutlery drawer and finding what you're looking for. That's more relevant, I think, in utensil drawer. So do your utensil drawer next. Seeing a very neat and tidy or easily findable drawer of utensils, it's not annoying. So you imagine if you're wanting to cook but you're not feeling well, so that you've already got low energy, and it's really not annoying that you've got to cook, but it's adding to your list of things that you have to do. And then you open your utensil drawer and you can't find your spatula or you can't find something. It just adds to that negative feeling that you've got over what you're doing. Whereas if you open your drawer and you can get your items very easily, it's not adding to overwhelm. Right? So it does really, really does affect you in your health and wellness if you are in a situation where you're just feeling everything's falling on top of you. Right. So reach out for help. There are people out there. I help emotional release. So I declutter emotions for people. So, identifying the emotion, being able to say, where am I holding that in my body? What can I do about it? Is there a solution? Is releasing for many people. And what it does, it releases the tension that's held within the body as well. So suddenly you feel lighter. Suddenly your shoulders aren't pulled down. You actually can walk and breathe. So don't disregard clutter of an emotion. It's massive.
Thank you for that, because I am a clutter person, and I know it gets to the point where, okay, right, let's
start with the toilet.
I love having people over because it clears the table.
Yes,
if you could see the table today, I make space to put the laptop so I can do the show. Yeah. I'd like to welcome Nolene Barton.
Hi, Nolene.
She said, I'm just here now. I'm late, I'll have to watch the replay.
Yeah.
And and Dell said, my first comment has gone walkabout.
Oh
Oh,
no.
okay. Never
The
mind.
computer decluttered.
Yes.
So
Oh my
when we were
goodness, my
doing
goodness.
when I was studying, we did a session on aromatherapies. You know, I'm an avid oiler, and
Right.
we were told that if you're feeling the need to clean your house, lemon oil on the base of the soles of your feet does something to energize the body's meridian systems to help with cleaning. Just put a sock or something on afterwards, because oil can make it slippery. But yes, I remember thinking at the time, well, if ever I think about cleaning the house, I'll remember that. But until then, I won't remember. So lemon oil on the soles of your feet helps with the energetic clearing of or giving you the impetus or the energy to clean.
Yes, yes. And now, Janet also said earlier, perfect topic while the moon is in Virgo.
Oh, there you go. See, even the universe or the weathers cleanse and clean. So, you know, we've got to be in flow, and that's where it is. It's that blockage of flow when it's too much, or the emotions are too much. So release the emotion, or reach out and find out why you're hanging on.
Yes, and I think too, Marnie, to be you've mentioned it earlier, to be kind to ourselves. There's no point in beating ourselves up.
No.
If somebody happened to walk in this morning and see my house the way it is, well, then that's fine. It's a work in progress day after day. But they've come to see me.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so, and I always smile if someone says, oh, excuse the mess. I choose not to say those words, because that's bringing attention to whatever it is. It's like, oh, hello, great to see you. Thanks.
Here's the kitchen table. Look, we'll shove that out the way and we'll have a cuppa. The solution to low energy.
Hello, Julie.
And depression.
We're about to go, but never mind. Aren't we fortunate that it's on replay?
Absolutely.
Over and over and over.
Yeah. But as I said, share on the page, you know, what emotions you felt, or what was the thing that you found hardest to let go, or what was the easiest to let go. Maybe that's it. That's the first topic.
Well, yes, because remember,
because what you found easy, someone else won't. Like for me, shoes, I don't care about shoes.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's a topic we could do over and over and over. It'd be good
we could pick a room.
It would be good to do it early in the new year, Marnie.
It would, yeah.
And we could actually because by then we will have had more presents. I know recently I was asked what did I want, and I said, I'm an experience person rather than I don't need the stuff. Whereas I really value experiences.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, we've come to the end of another show, and I'm giving people advanced warning. There's no live show happening next week because I'm getting off the Disney ship next Thursday in Melbourne, and
I hope Mickey Mouse goes on it too.
I know. I'm going to look forward to dancing with Mickey. So Rosemary and I, and possibly Peter, are going to be doing a show on the 30th of November. However, so there's no show on the 16th, but on the 23rd or the 22nd, if you're like Janet in America, I will be on with Elaine Ann. So next week would be a great time to watch a replay of this week and see how you're doing with your letting go of treasures.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marnie, very, very much.
That's right. My pleasure.
Thank you to the audience, and may you continue to have a thrilling Thursday or a wonderful Wednesday. Bye for now.